Welcome to Mosaic Arts Online. I'm Rachel Sager, and this is Intuitive Andamento Part 2, Embracing Your Elegance. This workshop is the natural complement to my original Intuitive Andamento class. They can each stand alone, but are stronger when followed in order as a team. Who is this workshop for? If you are looking to refine your voice as an artist, if you want to stand out, surprise, be recognized from across a crowded room, if you believe or want to believe that the power of your imagination is limitless, if you are looking for detailed steps to evolve your andamento into a more elegant form of communication, then this workshop is for you. Now, what does this title say? I want you to think about both of those words. Embrace. You are wrapping your arms around the idea of your line building. There's love in that. If you want to have a long-term relationship with something, you gotta love it, right? But why did I choose the word elegance? Because mosaic can often be composed of heavy materials. That heaviness can translate into more than simply weight. The chunky pieces of things can easily become awkward, heavy, or clumsy. I want to give you the power and knowledge to transform the heavy into the elegant. In the first workshop, you learned to separate your brain from worrying about the composition. By working on the long substrate that I call the yoga mat, you approached each line as a practice. Now we are going to jump into the adventure of building lines that talk to each other on your substrate. I'll be leading you through an actual piece of my own work from start to finish and sharing with you how I tap into my intuition with every piece. In the next section is a PDF with tools, materials, and resources to realize this adventure.
Welcome, Rachel. Thank you so much for coming back to Mosaic Arts Online.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
So happy you're here and super excited to share this process and this workshop with everyone. Really quickly, give me the elevator pitch of how you got started in mosaic art.
It all started with the broken plate.
Doesn't it always?
I was working in a little tiny mosaic studio, being the grouter. I had the dirty job, truly the dirty job. And I was introduced to a book that was about Raymond Isidore from the Cassiette fame outside of Paris. And it got my imagination going, and that was over 20 years ago. And I have gone through many, many iterations of this beautiful medium, and I've never once let go of it. It has always been my medium since then.
Oh, I love
so the broken plate.
Tell me about why the word intuitive. What exactly is this about? This is really your word and your process in our mosaic community, and expand on that a little bit.
It's a very important word to me. And I've given it a lot of thought. In a way, I doubted in the beginning that, why am I trying to teach someone intuition? It's the definition of intuition is an innate response that has no reasoning behind it. It's just a response that comes out of your soul in a way. Awesome. And everybody has their own way of having that intuition. But over time, I have learned, I've done some research, and there are lots of books written about strengthening your intuition and tapping into it and making it stronger. So we all have it. Some of us have a little bit of a sleeping intuition inside of us, and we're not tapping into it. And with this kind of mosaic work, it's like a way to tap into your intuition. And one of the things that I love saying in this medium is that can the line make you a better person? And I wholeheartedly believe that it can, and I think part of what these exercises do is to tap into being a better mosaicist and at the same time somehow becoming a better person along the way.
Like able to reach into your soul in a way and really tap that place with working in these materials and this process.
I mean, there are things that, like the word copying, doesn't belong anywhere in this kind of work, because when you're working with intuitive Andamento and really bringing it out of yourself, you're pulling it out of your own experiences, your own history, where you come from. There's no room for copying because it can't fit into that.
No.
It's you coming out of your lines.
Your voice.
I believe that.
Really your voice. It's awesome. So break it down a little bit on the process of creating this amazing piece. This is what Rachel created in this whole online course. And again, this is a process that she's teaching, but bringing it in a little bit more on bringing these lines together, which she can explain better. But how can we get this part 2 of realizing their own voice in intuitive Andamento with this piece?
Lots of different sections specifically broken up to help us get to where this piece is. We have a section that we give a lot of time to called Mosaic Strong. And so you can make a design in the art world. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a Mosaic Strong design. We have to learn to speak in the Mosaic language, and by creating a design that speaks with the strength of the tessera, if that makes sense, we can create a composition that says a lot. It communicates something, and so I'm always trying to figure out ways to make the tessera communicate, and that's what that Mosaic Strong was about. Then we go deep into building a palette, how to build a palette out of pieces of things, whatever those things happen to be. In this case, it's a lot of geology, but it can be the pieces of things can be glass, ceramic, plastic, wood. I mean, that's one of the huge freedoms we as mosaic artists have.
So
we can turn anything into mosaic. We really
The
can.
word tessera has a whole new meaning.
Yeah.
You had more to say on that.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
one more. Getting lost in the line is a big part of this. The joy of losing the rest of the world, why you are line building, is a big part of what I teach in this class. But I have a little joke where I say, get lost in the line, but make sure you have your compass in your pocket, because you can't get completely lost, because if you're working on a composition, you do have a goal in mind and you have to follow certain rules. So that's a few examples there.
That's great. We are introducing 2 new sections in this course, and it's a new way that we're going to explore teaching. And this is strictly from a visual, without talking point of view. There'll be beautiful music playing, but I watched you and I was mesmerized in shooting this online course and how your hands worked and the choices that you were making. You mentioned that your teacher, Verdiano Marzi, you learned so much just from watching his hands. And explain to the students kind of what they're going to get with this new sort of thing we're doing.
Well, the reason that is such a great memory for me is that Verdiano and I had a language barrier. So a lot of our time together had to be watching his hands speak to me. And I have since passed that on, love passing that on to my students. And I have found that there really is communication in the fingers. And this time that we spend without my voice, which is a few chapters in this, just watching me make decisions, make mistakes, and then fix them. That's a big part of this. Skip a few spaces and then go back and fill them in later. All kinds of different freedom of choices going on in my hands that in some ways my voice could distract from. So I think I'm really excited about those 2 chapters. I think they're going to be very helpful to people.
I do too, and just to think about the fact that when you did learn from Verdiano, you were in person with him, so it had to be committed to your memory.
Oh, yeah.
Just think about these students. They're now going to have it online to watch as often as they want, over and over again, so it can really get imprinted. So I think this is going to be huge, and I think this online course is going to be just the best way to follow up with your first one. So thank you so much for coming back to Mosaic Arts Online.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you.
Yay.